everyone, welcome to another episode of Woman Empowerment Series today with me, Farisha. And today we have a special guest with us, all the way from Singapore. It's Nadia. Hi, Nadia.
Hello, so nice to see you.
Yeah, how's sunny Singapore?
It's very sunny. Actually, you're calling me on a day today where it's so sunny. So I had to turn on all the aircon to make sure that I still look, nice and refreshed during this interview and not like sweating and stuff like that, which
Yeah, I
happens
miss
sometimes.
Singapore because the last time when I was down in Singapore was before COVID.
Oh, wow. That's a long
Yeah,
time. So you're going to have to
yeah.
come here quite soon and come and say hi to me in person.
Yep, definitely. I'm gonna come to Singapore and then we're gonna meet up and then we're gonna go makan at Lau Pasat and all of the gerai. We'll go to Geylang Serai for makan because
Okay.
Singapore
Okay.
is famous with all of the nice food there, especially at Geylang.
Yeah, Malaysia also, right? Yeah,
Yes,
Malaysia.
yeah, Malaysia too. We have, nasi lemak, char kway teow, curry mee, chicken
Yeah.
rice, and all of the
Oh,
nice
you're going to
food.
make me so hungry. I'm not going to be able to concentrate on this podcast because all I want to do now is eat.
Okay, so Nadia, can you tell us more a bit about yourself?
So, yes, hi, I'm a presenter producer and I'm based in Singapore, as you just pointed out. And I've been in this industry for quite a number of years now, actually. I would say 8 years, like in terms of like full-time professional. So currently I present and I produce corporate videos. And I used to be in a newsroom, actually. So I was a news anchor and a journalist. So that was definitely a very interesting time. I covered international news as well as local general news, and I did sporting news as well. So I'm not sure if you're a fan of sports, but I've interviewed quite a number of really interesting athletes like the F1 drivers, football players, etc. So it's definitely been an interesting ride. What I really love about my job is that I get to use it kind of as a platform to help people. So for example, I just released a video on dementia awareness, which is really, really important. It's an important topic here in Singapore, right? Because we have a growing aging population. But aside from using my job as a platform to help people, I think I've always known that I wanted to be a presenter. Strangely, from a very young age, actually. I think I was like 11 or 12 when I realized that this was the line I wanted to go into, because I have this inherent love for humans and for connecting with people. And people think that presenting is all about the glamour, it's about TV. It's really not. It's about using yourself and using your words, using your script as a way to really, cross the screen like this right here, right? I'm going to be able to connect to you. And I find that very interesting. I think it's an art.
Yeah, and I think that broadcasting is your calling.
Thank you. I think so too, I don't know.
Okay, and the next question, could you ever have imagined where you are today at the beginning of your career and what keeps you going to strive to be better every day?
I definitely could not have imagined being where I am today. And I'll tell you why. It's because I knew also from a very young age that this was a highly competitive industry. And I think you do this sort of line as well, right? To some degree. So you will know how competitive it is. Even though I knew I wanted this, I honestly knew also that there was a chance that it may not happen. But I didn't focus too much on that, to be honest with you. Instead, what I focused on was, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve. So what can I do to get there, right? That's what I focus on. So, I always tell people this is not a goal that I achieved in like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, not even 5 years. It's something that took like 15 years, starting from when I was 11 and I started learning drama and I became a lot more comfortable with myself on stage, on screen. And I would say that this is the kind of attitude I've had, like in terms of anything in life from when I was a kid. I always had that one major goal and I would think, hey, what are the things I can collect in order to make myself strong enough to achieve this goal? So when I was younger, in terms of like, I wanted to get into a good university. So I was like, okay, I need good grades. That's fine. And then I was like, okay, what else do I need to do? What else should I place on my resume? Okay, maybe I'll add a sport. So I tried out for the basketball team, even though I was so scared of team sports because I get really nervous, but I was like, I'm going to do it anyway for my resume. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'll learn an instrument or something. So I taught myself how to play the guitar. So similarly with the career, I was like, how can I make myself better to try to make sure that I achieve what I want to achieve in the future? So I would take on hosting gigs. I would volunteer to do it for free or at a phenomenally low cost. When I was younger, I would practice my voice. I wanted to interview people because I adore people. So I would interview my friends. They became my subjects. And I'm very grateful that all of that ended up paying off. And 10 to 15 years later, I achieved what I wanted to achieve. What keeps me going every day in terms of my role is that passion in my heart. I kind of move like with an arrow. Like I don't know whether it's because I'm like a Sagittarius, and the symbol for a Sagittarius, right? I'm born in December, is a centaur. So it walks around with a bow and arrow. So that's how I walk through life. I always feel like an arrow. But also, like what I said earlier, I love using my work as a platform to help people. And I think I've managed to help bring awareness to a lot of important causes. And that is also something else that keeps me going every day.
Amazing, amazing, Nadia. And I'm like you too. High five. I am a people's person and we love to be around people.
Yes.
And we love
Yes.
the energy, interviewing people because there's a satisfaction that we get. Like
Exactly.
it's like a burning a fire, when you interview someone and then and the
Yeah.
energy and then also the learning that you can learn from them as well and what they can learn from you. So we learn from each other. So that is what I like about interviewing people, the psychology behind it. Yeah.
Mhm.
The psychology behind interviewing people and also, connecting with other people as well.
Yeah, I agree with you because there's so much to be learned from everyone and anyone you meet, right? And everyone has a different story, everyone has a different path. And when you interview people, I mean, I've lost track of how many people I've interviewed. I would have to say that it's probably within the thousands of people now, but everyone has something to teach you. And when you meet so many people, you also learn empathy and compassion. And that's reinforced. And that is so important, especially in this world, which can be quite problematic. We all need to be compassionate and empathetic.
Yes, and I totally agree with you because everyone goes through different challenges in life. And
Yes.
I believe in this beautiful quote that goes by, be kind because everyone is fighting a battle that we don't know about. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So,
Exactly.
you get to learn a lot about other people that you might not know. But when you heard their story after interviewing them, you go like, wow, she have gone through a lot. Yeah. So I think, rule number one is, when you interview people, then you will know, that person's story, that person's true character and why she is, like
Why they're the way they are.
exactly. Yeah. Why they're the
Yeah.
way they are and why,
Yeah.
for example, like they have spent like years to develop themselves and train themselves to be the person that they are today.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well said.
Okay. And the next question, who are the women figures that you look up to? Someone that you admire as a mentor?
So I have many people that I look up to, both women and men. And it's basically because of what we just touched upon that I meet so many people. And sometimes I don't think you need to look that far to be inspired, if you get what I mean, because the person right in front of you, hey, like you're right in front of me right now. And I have something to be inspired by because you've created this platform to actively try to create change in this world. And I think that's awesome. So my hat's off to you.
Thank you, Nadia.
But you're
I wish
welcome.
I could hug you right now. So I'm gonna hug
Next
you when
time.
I'm in Singapore.
Thank you. I would love that. But yes, if you ask me about, some of the other female figures that I look up to, there's a whole range, from public figures, actors, political figures, like the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern. I think she's just incredible.
She's amazing. She's
She
amazing.
really is,
She is
right?
amazing.
Because of the patriarchal seeds that have been sown into our society from the sands of time. Growing up, we have an idea, right, of what leadership should look like, and often that's can be aggressive, it can be cruel, ruthless, and that is what we were taught maybe from a while back, that's what leadership should look like. Actually, that's not the case. And a figure like Jacinda Ardern, she shows us what leadership actually is, right? It can be compassionate, it can be decisive.
Yeah,
Yes,
we need that
empathy.
empathy in leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and importantly, figures like her use their platform to make a statement as well, and to show and really walk the walk, and that inspires people like all of us, right, to maybe want to go forward, use our voice as well. So figures like her, I'm really inspired by. And I'm also greatly inspired by the people around me and my best friends, actually. I have some amazing female best friends. Many of them, unfortunately, are scattered overseas, so I haven't seen quite a few of them in a number of years. But, like I said, right, we all grew up in this society where we were taught certain things, where if people said something to us like 10 years ago that might have been considered acceptable, but right now it would not be acceptable, right? Because of movements and because of the changes in society that have come up, like I said, with public figures and all of that speaking up. And I'm lucky to have my best friends who've grown up in different societies, in progressive societies. And because of them, we actually bounce ideas off each other. We talk about things, we talk about these movements, we talk about the unfairness and the injustices of society, and what we can do as individuals to help change that. So we have each other to lean on. And I certainly, in no way,
Yes,
shape, or
and
form.
we support each
Yeah.
other.
We
Yes.
support each other. And I wouldn't be who I am without my best friends. Like they made me smarter. They have made me stronger.
Mm-hmm.
They have made me, more aware of these things in society. And so therefore, they're some of the female figures that I look up to.
Yes, that's really important, because for us women, we need that support system from other women as well, because that is how we grow and that is how we lift each other up. Yeah, so I always believe in, women empowerment. So women empowerment means that we support and empower our girlfriends, yeah, other ladies as well. And that is how we grow, and that is how we lift each other up. And there is no room for hatred, no room for jealousy, no room for, oh, I'm better than you and you're less than me. No room for comparison, because we want to see each other win. We want to see everyone win, and we want to see everybody make it. And
Yes.
I like to be, in a friendship where you see them clapping for you, and then the next time that when they achieve something, you clap for them and they clap for you. So we clap for each other. And for me, I think that's beautiful, with a friendship, for us as women. So there's no jealousy, no hate, and it's all about supporting one another and empower each other. And I think that is a very beautiful thing, and how we, can, support each other. For example, I support my friend's business, and she's doing a small cake and bakery business, and I bought the cakes from her, and I'm helping her build her small business. And, you can support other people around you. It's all, start from all these little things. And that is how we support and empower each other. And
I agree with you.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say that
Yeah.
aside from women supporting women, I also think it's important to support not just women, but women need to support men, and we need men to support us.
Yes, agree.
Right? Because the only way that change is going to happen is if we all, every single one of us, as best as we can. I know this sounds very utopian, but it is the truth. If we stand together, that is when we can really enact change. The reality is patriarchy, it does not just affect women, it also affects
men as well.
I mean, many men that we know have all been told at some point in their lives, hey, don't cry, don't show emotion, because you're a male and you need to be strong. And that's not fair, is it? Like no man, no woman, no anybody, no one should be ever told that they have to, not cry or not be allowed to show emotion.
I I think it's
because
okay
of their
because
gender.
yeah,
Of
yeah,
course it's
because it's
okay.
being human, because we're all human,
Yeah.
we have emotion, and
Yes.
it's okay for guys to cry. It doesn't mean that they're weak, it means that they're human as
Yes.
well. So we're all human
Yeah.
and we have
Yes.
emotions, and sometimes we have
Yes.
good days and bad days as well. And life is full of challenges. Sometimes it can go up and down and up again and downhill again.
Yeah.
So I guess I think it's okay, you know.
Of
So I
course it's
think,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Of
and
course
and
it's
for
okay.
and for us as well, like as women, you know, we need men. Yeah, we need men
Yes.
as, you know, like fathers, father figures, boyfriend, husband, brothers, and you know, we need them in our lives, and it's important as well, like for us to, you know, support each other.
Yes. And to
Yeah.
give each other the space to know that
Mm-hmm.
we can be who we want in
Mm-hmm.
spite of the binaries that have been assigned to our gender by society. So that's what I mean. If
Right.
men need
Mm-hmm.
to be reminded by us that they can be vulnerable and they
Yeah,
don't have to be like
and
this
it's
because they're
okay.
men.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
and
that's
it's
okay.
okay.
And
It's
similarly, we
okay to
need
be
that support too,
vulnerable.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's okay to
Exactly.
cry. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to
Yeah.
feel disappointed,
Yeah.
because we're human. We're not robots. Yeah,
Yes.
and it's
Exactly.
okay if you have a bad day. It doesn't mean that you will have a bad day forever. The storm will pass. Yeah, I have bad days, but sometimes I try to think optimistic and say, okay, what can I do now? Okay, I have a problem. I have to find the solution to the problem. Yeah. So, you know, you just have to, you know, think, and then also, you know, stop worrying and say, oh, okay, I'm going to have a bad day forever. You're just going to have a bad day for a while. At the same time, find the solution to solve the problem. Yeah. So I think that is really important for us, men and women, to support and empower each other.
Here, here. Completely agree.
Okay. And the next question, okay, this is a very interesting question. In your own words, can you describe what woman empowerment means to you?
Sure. So I think this term, women empowerment, right? It's very subjective to each person, right? Because people feel empowered in different ways. So I will answer this in terms of what makes me feel empowered, right? And for me, what makes me feel empowered is being aware, aware of myself internally, my strengths, my weaknesses, and my traits, and aware of the world externally and all the different, issues that comes with it, the beauty that comes with it. I think that, so let's start with the external first. Why is it important to know what's going on the outside? Because when we know about this, when we teach ourselves, when we educate ourselves on the very real issues that people face, not just in our countries, but in other countries, that's when we become knowledgeable. And if something happens, if, for example, a sexist situation arises in front of us, then we have that knowledge to know that something like this is not okay, and we have the potential to potentially help the person in front of us. And I think that that's really, really important. And to be aware of yourself internally, for example, like for me, right, one of the traits that I'm very proud to have is that I know I behave with integrity and I'm compassionate. So if, no matter how hard a blow that life has dealt me, right, because all of us, we have these hard hits, things are
Yeah,
going to happen and they're going to be really
me too.
painful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no matter how cruel the situation has been, I always walk away knowing that I acted in a way that was for me, that was filled with integrity, and that nothing anyone said or did could have made me lower myself, lower my levels, or change the way I approach things. And that to me is empowering because I know myself well enough to know how I would react.
And you
And I
believe in
think, yeah,
yourself.
and I believe in myself. And of course, your
Mhm.
confidence shakes at different points in your life because things happen, right? But when you know the traits that make you you, that make you special, then if things happen, then you can hang on to those traits and then you can still be you, and that's important. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember back in 2016 when my father passed away. He passed away due to heart attack. So that was like the lowest point of my life. And I suffered a depression for 1 year. And because I was very close to him, I was very close to my dad. I cried. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to talk to people. So I was in a very, very bad state. And then I start to think that, hey, if Papa was around, he wouldn't want to see his daughter crying every day, right? So I have to get back up, I have to bounce back. As painful as it is, life is painful. You just have to bounce back. And it took a bit of process of healing. And after 6 years, yeah, I'm still in the process of healing. So healing takes time. It's not like
Yes.
1 month or two, it takes years. So
Yes.
for me, sometimes I feel sad, but then you just have to say to yourself that life goes on, right? Life goes on, even though that, your dad is no longer with you. But, he's watching you. He's watching you from heaven. So you just have to keep going. You just
Yeah,
have
I'm sure he'll be very proud of you.
Oh, thank you, Nadia.
Really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes you feel like you just break down and cry, and it's okay to cry. And you just have
Yeah.
to, think back and cherish all the good moments that you have,
Yeah.
like the good memories that I have with my dad. And for me, when life hits you hard, that is when you build yourself up, and it also shapes your character. And it also teach me a lesson where never take anyone for granted, because you do not know, you might lose them anytime, because life is too precious. Life is temporary. And we're all here in this earth for a short period of time, and we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So for me, when I bounced back, it was a bit difficult at the beginning, but then Alhamdulillah, after the second year, the first year and the second year of my dad's passing, I start to build back my confidence. I start to, like you start to build back and say, hey, I want to make my dad proud. I want to make him so proud of me. Yeah? So of course I cried. I cried in my sleep sometimes. I even cried in my room thinking about it. But then you just have to, push yourself and say, hey, Farisha, you can do this. You're a strong woman. You can do this, and promise you will make Papa proud. Make him proud. So for me, that is how I dealt with, the challenges
Yeah.
that I go through. So for me, everyone have different challenges, right? Yeah, everyone have different challenges in life. So for me, one of the biggest is losing my father. So I try to think back and say, okay, because of that painful experience, it shaped me to the person that I am today. And having empathy and compassion is really important. And it's okay to cry. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay to cry. It doesn't mean that you're weak if you cry. It means that you're human and you have emotion. And of course,
And
you feel sad.
vulnerability is
Yes,
strength, right?
yes, it's strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's okay to cry, because life is temporary. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. And cherish people around you and appreciate your friends, family, and loved ones, because life is short. Yeah.
Yes. And COVID has really shown us that,
Mm,
hasn't it? Because
mm-hmm,
I mean,
mm-hmm.
the world has changed, and I mean, I've lost 3 family members during COVID, and it's hard because
Oh,
you
deepest
want to
condolences
be.
to your family.
Thank you, but it's hard, right? Because you want to
Yeah.
be able to say goodbye to people, but for us, our family is separated, so we had to miss funerals, miss opportunities to say goodbye, to spend time with our loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point exactly,
Yeah.
anything can happen like that in a
Yeah.
second.
Anything can happen like the blink of the eye. Like you don't even know, like
Yeah.
suddenly you're like, oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for
So
me,
cherish what you have, right?
yeah, exactly. And for me, it happened when I was in the office. It was 9:30 in the morning, 9:30 a.m. And I got a phone call. My mother called me and say, come back now. Uh, Papa dah tak ada. Balik sekarang. Balik cepat. So when I got that phone call, I was so shocked. My mind just like shut down. I was like totally like, I can't imagine. Like my life just crumbled down. So I quickly grabbed a taxi and because I don't think that if I drive, I don't think that I'll be focused if I drive the car because I'm in the state of, oh my God, what am I supposed to do now? And at that time, I was really lucky as well because I have a really supportive boss. And she was really kind to me and she said, go back now. Don't worry about work. Don't worry about work. You can boleh ambil cuti, just go back now. She was really, really supportive at that time, my general manager. And at that time, you feel like, yeah, the whole world just crumbled down because you just got that phone call. And for me, I think that, yeah, I agree with you. You just don't know what's gonna happen. You just have to be ready with any uncertainty that, you know, with life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Oh, I
So
hope you're okay.
yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. We just have to, we just have to keep going. Life is hard,
Yeah,
but we just have to be strong and just keep it going.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Because life is a roller coaster, isn't it? Sometimes we can't have the highs if we don't have
have the
the lows,
lows.
isn't
Yep.
it?
Yeah. And it keeps you
Yeah. And
grounded
you're
as
doing
well.
so well.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
thank you,
you're
Nadia.
doing so well, okay?
Yeah.
You'll be very proud of you.
It's like sometimes you think that you know, like you look at that person and you think that, oh, that person is successful. But sometimes people don't know that behind the scene, what that person have to go through to get to, where they are or what that person have gone through in life, like the experience, the challenges. So for me, that's why I love that quote, the one that I mentioned just now, like be kind,
Mm.
because everyone is experiencing a battle that you don't know about. Everyone is going through something. Yeah.
And don't compare your lives on social media as well. That's
Yep.
something that I will say to your point, right? You don't know
Yep.
what a person's
Exactly.
going through. And
Exactly.
social
Yeah.
media is just snapshots of things because I mean, you can't tell a person's life or how hard
Mm-hmm.
they've worked
Yeah.
or what they've been through a couple of pictures on a feed.
Mm-hmm.
So always know that social media is just a tiny little glimpse of what a person chooses to place out there into this world. So always remember that your journey is your journey,
Mm-hmm.
and social media, try if as best as you can to know that, to try not to be affected by it because it can
Right.
be quite difficult as well in this age. Yeah.
Right. For me, I think it comes with hard work and grit as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Not just social media, the behind the scene work, the things that, people don't know that you go through,
Yeah.
such as, the rejection, the heartache, the
The
tears,
20-hour days.
the tears and,
Yeah.
being rejected. So those are the things that people don't see.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we've all experienced it. Yeah. Because
Yep.
it's part of life. Yeah.
And it's part of this industry as well, like the particular industry that I think you and I are in. Like nobody sees it, nobody knows that. Everyone
Yes.
just thinks I stand in front of the camera and just talk. And hey, I'm doing all I'm doing all aspects of the production, right? I'm
Yeah.
scripting, I'm editing, I'm doing all these things. Sometimes the days go into 20 hours,
Yep.
18 hours, 21 hours. It happens, but no one sees that, right? So that's why I say know and understand, ask the questions. That's why interviewing is so important, right? We're lucky to have been in this space that we can actually interview people for a living and learn and become those compassionate, empathetic females who then ended up meeting on LinkedIn. Yes.
Yeah, awesome. And
Yeah.
despite being like me in Malaysia and you're in Singapore, we connected because of LinkedIn. And that's the beauty of
Yeah.
online right now
Social
with the internet.
media.
With
Yeah.
LinkedIn, we connected. Yes.
Yes.
And we connected and we're in the same path and we have the same mindset and thinking. So I have the same, exactly the same mindset as you. So broadcasting, interviewing people is definitely not easy. There's a lot of research going on behind it, a lot of behind the scene work and a lot of preparation, the strategy behind it, the preparation, the storyboard, the scripting, the planning. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. And the next question, any words of advice that you can share with young women out there?
I have so much advice, so I'll try to keep it short and snappy. So my advice to not just young women, but young men as well, right, would be it is important to educate yourself as best as you can, like what I alluded to earlier, on this world that we live in, right? And the injustices that are faced, not just in our society, but in societies everywhere. We need to know and understand our history because that is going to influence our future. Do not ever be afraid to use your voice, because if we have been given a voice, if we're in a position of or a place where we have that potential to make a change, to help someone think differently, to help someone become stronger, use that voice. It doesn't matter what people say about you. It doesn't matter whether people would judge you and think, hey, why is this person being so political? Because Lord knows, if we talk about women empowerment, people automatically label us as something, right? When that's not the case. We're just really trying to make this world a better place for the next generation of both men and women, because as I say, patriarchy doesn't just affect women, it also affects men. So what I always say to people, you and me, like Farisha, we may not be able to change the entire world, but we may be able to change one person's world and help them to become stronger.
Yeah.
And if we can do that, then I think that is to have been successful, and that is a wonderful thing. Like I say, my best friends and I, we bounce ideas off each other, and then we go on to our different circles and we talk to each other, and that's how we create this butterfly effect. So yeah, that's advice number 2. Don't be afraid to use your voice. It doesn't matter what people say. Like I said, hold on to your personality and the traits that make you you. And also, lean on each other as best as we can. We will only move forward if we stand together. We need each other. Think about it like this, okay? In Singapore, we take trains quite often, right? We've got a great public transport system. Yeah. And yeah, sometimes the train journeys can feel kind of long, but if you have a friend there with you or somebody there with you, sometimes the journey seems a lot shorter, doesn't it? It seems a lot sweeter. And that is just a tiny way that shows us that humans need each other, because the journey is always sweeter with someone else. And don't ever think that you have to limit yourself because of what somebody says, right? That's so important. You do you, because you are enough.
Yes. And don't be afraid.
And that would be the advice.
Outside of your comfort zone, right? Yeah.
Definitely. And also, work hard. If you want something, you got to work hard. Sometimes it seems like, we can get things at the drop of a hand, and this digital age with all the online shopping and this and that may have made us a little bit more impatient, right? We want things done quickly,
fast.
But really, there's a lot of hard work involved. So if you want something, make sure you do all you can to get it, because hard work is invaluable. And at least that, you can always say that you gave it your best shot.
Yeah. And I believe that, the journey to success is not 1 to 2 days. It will take months and even years to accomplish it. And it
10
takes
years,
time.
15 years. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like the metamorphosis of a butterfly, right? At first, it's a caterpillar, and then it turns into like a pupa, and then it turns to a beautiful butterfly. So there's a metamorphosis of process to get to where, to be a beautiful butterfly. So it takes time. So I guess for all of us, it takes time. If you want to be somebody, if you want to be, successful, the journey is, it will take some time for us to get there.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
just like the butterfly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
funnily enough, I did aerial yoga yesterday for the first time, and there's actually a butterfly pose. So you had to, okay, doing this actually makes me ache. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we were really like doing this whole butterfly thing. So you just reminded me of that. Yeah.
Okay, and we have come to the last question, Nadia. So the last question is, what lessons have you learned from the pandemic?
So I would say that what I learned from the pandemic was already something that I knew before, but it was reinforced during COVID. And that is to, as best as possible, always choose love. We discussed it a little bit earlier, right? That we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't
Right.
know when this is going to be the last hug or the last time we see someone before they go off to a different country.
Mm-hmm.
So hug your loved ones, appreciate those moments, appreciate the mere act of being able to do something so simple, which is now made so much more complicated with so many added layers due to this global crisis. Appreciate the moments, appreciate the present, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Yeah. So to choose love as best as you can.
Yes, and I agree with you because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Our life might just change at the blink of an eye. And, never take anyone or anything for granted. Appreciate everybody and be thankful. And like for me, I have a gratitude journal, and
That's
I write
amazing.
and I write down all of the list of things that I'm grateful for. And I try to focus on the things that I'm grateful for, and try not to think about the things that you haven't achieved yet. Yeah. So you try to focus on the positive. You try to focus on the thing that you're grateful for. And the more that you're grateful for, that life will give you more if you're grateful. You just have to focus on, your mindset. The mindset is really important because you need to have a very strong mindset. And sometimes for us as humans, we get easily distracted by things. And for me, I think it's really important to be grateful and to focus on the things that we have instead of the things that we do not have, because the things that we have, and like for example, it can just be a simple thing like, oh, I'm going for a nice lunch with my mom tomorrow. It can just like be just a simple stuff like, oh, I'm gonna cook this dish because it makes me happy because I love to cook on my free time. And it can just be like a walk in the park or just exercise or something. So it can just be a small little things that makes you happy,
Yeah.
and you write it down in your gratitude journal, and then when you look back at your journal, you see that, okay, I've done the exercise around the park, check. Okay, so and then today I cooked siakap steamed fish and tom yum, check. So it's just like those little things of gratitude list. Like for example, let's say at work. Oh, at work, I have accomplished this campaign, this marketing campaign, which I've done for my management team, and my bosses and also my management is really happy with the results. So you take check, because those are the list of things that you have accomplished in your professional life and also in personal. So when you have a gratitude list of things, you tend to look back and say, hey, I've done this. So you're focusing on the good. You're focusing on the things, the positive things in life. So that is how,
Yeah.
you grow and you train your mind.
Yeah. And for me, I personally, I believe in celebrating the small wins.
Yeah.
I don't think that we need to wait for, something super major before we celebrate it. Any small thing that happens,
Yeah.
not just to me, but to everyone else, I'll say, congratulations. If someone did a good project, I'll say, this is a great job. And taking that time to acknowledge these little milestones is important, because these are the things that are going to bring us to the great big milestones. It's actually the little things
Exactly.
in life
Yeah.
that matter, and people think that they can be brushed aside. Sometimes we live in a society that is fast paced, that wants to see great big results, but we also have to remember that the small things add up. To add up. You see the small thing, the door just shut, but yeah, this and I heard this loud crash. But yes, exactly, this door is reinforcing my point. The small things add up to the great big things. And
Yes,
thank
and
you,
I
door,
agree
for
with you,
shutting.
Nadia. I agree with you. We should celebrate the small wins.
Yes,
Yeah, it's the
exactly.
little things, because the little things add up to big things. And most importantly, believe in yourself, because
Yes.
self-love and self-care comes first. So when you love yourself, self-care, self-love, you will believe in yourself, and that is when the magic happens. So it all starts from you. So when you believe in yourself, anything is possible. You just have to have faith in you.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so we have come to the end of Woman Empowerment Series video podcast, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank Nadia for being with me today. So till then, stay safe, take care, bye.
See you later. Bye.